We reached the end of the line. Been a lot of lows, one high, and, well, most likely another low, so let's get started. This is Combat Overview. Here we go over the general controls, the main mechanics, who or what we use them on, and see how it all comes together. So X is your light attack, doing extremely fast jabs. Just mash it to get a lower combo. And if you press forward and light at the same time at the start, you do a quick forward moving gut punch to end with a crowd control kick. Square is your heavy attack, doing a 3-hit combo, usually flowing them. There's no directional attack combo here like we just saw with the lights, so more straightforward. There's not a bunch of unique enders to choose from. Light into mashing heavies will do this knockdown directly in front of you. One heavy into lights will do this wide sweeping kick, flowing a crowd. Decently thought out enders. Lights are easier to land, so reward is a shorter ranged finisher, while starting with that slower heavy has a better payout. Not bad, right? But, just like we saw, there's two ways to get that same sweeping crowd control kick, and since the triangle is slower, might as well go with the forward tap light attack version. It's quick, moves you forward a bit, does decent damage, and floors people. Which means you're going to be doing this one quite a bit over and over. Kinda works on everything. Alright, after knocking all these people down, you can do some ground stomps, heavy or light version. But again, the trade-off for power or speed doesn't matter much, because once you kick them, they can't do much about it, so you just loop them till they're goner. You can grab a circle, pummel a square, or just toss them a circle as soon as you grab them. You can't pummel and then throw midway through, you can only choose one. But it is nice you can do one attack, either light or heavy, and easily combo into a grab from there, which does come in handy quite a bit late game. You're also invulnerable while throwing, which is pretty good, and it also crowd controls decently. But you can't use it to OTG like an MK Shaolin Monks or Arkham Knight. There's melee weapons lying around that'll break after some use, lights and heavies, you can even grab with them too, but they get outclassed pretty quick because there's guns in this game. We get these often enough to just use these instead. Onto defenses, we have no Chemi, so if you get knocked down, you're gonna stay floored for a cool second, making this overall pace even slower than it already is. You can block while holding L1, it will auto turn you to whoever's attacking, and blocking weapons does do chip damage. But if you can manage it, guarding at the right moment would do a parry, slowing down time, letting you press either light or heavy to get a different follow-up. That'll just do the same thing. And while holding R1 to lock on, pressing triangle while moving will do a dash step. It's pretty alright. It's a good way to avoid wake-up attacks, but not really useful in most fights. But as you're locked on, you can also attack as their attack is about to hit you, having you do this counter attack. It kind of works like how a clash parry would. You gotta attack their attack startup or when it hits you type of thing, with either your light or heavy. They look pretty cool, and it's neat we have this at all, but enemy towers are pretty bad. And the time it takes to get your guard up is slow as it is already, so this isn't going to happen. Also, none of these defensive options cancel anything. You can't go for counter or parry or sidestep on reaction. You have to fully wait for animations to play out to do any of it. Oh, and you can only do that just guard counter when you have meter, making this even less of a common option. So you can't cancel animations, you need meter to use any of those fun options. Enemies have no distinct towels in the patterns. Yeah, defense is non-existent. There's just too many hurdles to get through. So you'll just be walking in and out pretty much and mashing that crowd control ender. Looking at the HUD, red is health, and the blue meter underneath is instinct. Holding L2 will put you in this powered up state, increasing the damage on every attack you land. It'll slowly drain but won't use much of it until you actually land a hit. And you feel it, just land hits. This meter will be used for those special moves too, but they're not worth it usually. It's cool we find Hagar later on and even Guy. That's how we got those moves. And they'll even sell you different ones. There's delay combos or more counter follow-ups, but it doesn't really matter too much, because again, you fight way too many busy crowds to use attacks that only focus on one person. And counters only needs meter to even work, so just buy base damage increases and health upgrades. That's all you're going to need. When it comes to enemies, there's gangs you'll come across, some mobsters, and then yeah, there's zombie junkies in this game. They're grabby, but not much else. There's also ninjas and even schoolgirls with katanas. Nothing to say here. There's nothing unique about any of these, so just do the same thing for any other enemy. Mash out crowd control ender. For bosses, gotta fight goons while dodging falling crates. then you'll be chased down by a forklift. And it's a very bad sign when both this and Death by Degrees have a very similar early game boss having to fistfight a guy with a gun while hiding behind these thin covers. These starting bosses are just okay, but then they'll all become these science experiments who are based off the Four Horsemen. Looks like some kind of RE tyrant boss fight at times. Yeah, we fight a few people we once knew that got turned into these souped up monsters. Even Cody joins in on the craze. And that's Final Fight Streetwise. It's cool you see Cody and Hagar and Guy again. You see some Street Fighter references tossed around in there. That's pretty neat. Even the car minigame from Street Fighter and Final Fight is tossed in here.
Oh my god.
Alongside a roach killing minigame that you gotta do a few times. But people weren't wrong that it's pretty meh. Also, this saving is kinda bad. There's no autosave at all. And when it comes to an open interconnected city type of game, going to multiple locations, talking to random NPCs, doing little odds and ends to progress the story, I like to have some of it saved at least. Especially the money I get for doing these things, since that's our XP pretty much. But you can only save when you quit. So you gotta toss yourself completely out of the game all the way back to the main menu. But when you load back in, it'll send you a good bit back if you're not careful when quit. Because you're going to find out there's some in-game checkpoint when progress will actually be saved. So even though it said you did, it probably didn't. Your money, upgrades, and story progression, side quests you've done wouldn't actually be saved. So when you reload it, it might be a bad time. So you can never be too sure when you reach some sort of internal game checkpoint. So you're just forced to play for long stretches not knowing if anything you're doing is safe. So you just gotta play till you can't anymore. Or until the game can't anymore. Because it likes to freeze up quite a bit, making things even more on edge for you. So yeah, because of all of this, I finished the game in one sitting. Wasn't going to risk it. So yeah, I did the same ender over and over on enemies that don't push you to mix it up at all. And it's also one of the worst escort missions I've ever played in my life at the end. Which doesn't help when you really just want the game to be over already. Yeah, this game is just not fun. I could say worse about it, but it's taking a lot of my time and energy as it is. So I'd rather just move on. Don't play it. That's it. I'm back. I slept on it for a few days, and Streetwise isn't some terrible game that shouldn't exist. It's just fine. I had a rough time with it because of its wonky save system and the random crashes, which you gotta admit is kind of a powerful combo. The zombies and guns are fine. I didn't feel like it ruined Final Fight as a series or anything. I thought it was such a left field decision, I kinda liked it for what it was. And even though bosses were repetitive with their hit and run approach, the designs were pretty cool. They kinda gave off the suffering look to me, which is a good thing. Plus it is a nice and compact game. Would have finished it in about 3 hours, but it took me 5 instead. So I got in and out pretty quick. All in all, it's okay. Nothing more, nothing less. But if you really want a little grungy, beat up town fighting off junkies and other gang members when you visit their turf, play the Warriors. This league's better.